Hi there, and welcome to part 3 of a short series of videos exploring colour. In part 1, we had a look at the colour wheel and some of the different colour formulas or colour schemes that artists use when selecting a palette. And in part 2, we looked at one of those schemes, complementary colours, in a wee bit more detail. And here in part 3, we're sticking with complementary colours, but this time we're going to use them to mix a beautiful range of neutrals. So if you remember from the previous video, complementary colours, when placed together, they really make each other pop and they sort of increase each other's vibrancy. So if you watched the video, remember those orange lamps in that, I've got it here actually. If you remember those orange lamps in that blue kitchen, and we also had a look at these beautiful bright Van Gogh paintings. So yes, complementary colours together increase the vibrancy. But when you mix complementaries together, the opposite happens. They neutralise each other. And that, with the addition of a lot of white, you can mix an infinite array of beautiful greys and earthy tones. You never really have to buy a cheaper grey paint again. And they really are the perfect backdrop to making your bright colours sing even more. So let's have a look at a couple of examples here. Our first complementary colour is going to be the blue and orange. Okay, a well-known complementary colour scheme. So I've got some blue here. And some orange. I've also got lots of white, which I'll keep separate here as well. So extremely vibrant, bright colours, and they're really intense when you place them together like that. So let's just see how bright that looks. Now, if we were to add just a little bit of the complementary colour, so let's just add a tiny little bit of orange to this, just a little bit. And also putting some white in this just so we can actually see the colour better. A little bit of orange. We're just wanting to just desaturate the blue a little bit. That is still blue, it's just been slightly, it's like a muted version. It's just been slightly greyed down, slightly sort of knocked back. But we can continue with that and add a little bit more of the orange and white. I'm getting a bit of a glare from my light here, so hopefully you're able to see this properly. A bit more orange. And here we've got really quite a nice kind of putty grey. And you can make that as light as you want. Just lighten that up. And you can make that go as light as you want. Right to just being off-white. Or you might want to add a little bit more orange to that, warm it up a little bit more, slightly warmer grey. I mean, you could have endless subtle tones just from these two complementary colours. I've just shown you sort of 5. You could have literally thousands, depending on how much orange you put in, depending on how much blue you put in, and depending on how much white you put in. But that's quite a nice grey, actually. I do like that. So let's look at another set of complementaries. Just going to give my brush a good wash. So another set of complementaries that you see a lot is purple and yellow. And I have got here a yellow which I like. I use this yellow a lot. It's called Naples yellow. And it is a nice yellow. So put it on, I'll show you. I quite like it. It has got a slightly kind of custardy sort of look to it. So if you want to neutralise that and sort of grey that down to take away that sort of slightly dairy look, the way of doing that would be to add a little bit of the complementary, which is purple. I'm just adding like a little tiny bit to begin with, just to show you. I'm still wanting it to be yellow. Put a bit of white in here as well. It's easier for you to see the actual colour when I've got white. So I'm still wanting it to be yellow. I just want it to be a muted, desaturated yellow. So I've just added a little bit of the complementary purple, like that. But I could add more. And that makes quite a nice kind of almost like a kind of lilac-y grey. Sort of neutral, very kind of earthy. I like that. Let's add a little bit more white. You can just really play about with this. Add a little bit more yellow. Right. So you can make a really quite a pale, neutral. Let's see what it's like with a little bit more. I'm playing with this now. You can make a lot of different sort of subtle changes of tone. Nice, I like that one. Let me just wash my brush again. So the last one I'm going to show is green and red. Now, green and red together are extremely intense. It can look a bit like a Christmas card. And that's why Christmas decorations look so zingy. If you think of holly berries against the holly leaves and think of red tinsel hanging from a Christmas tree. But you don't always want that effect. Sometimes you want a more muted painting, but still using your complementary colours. So I'm just going to show you this. Do you remember we looked at this briefly in the previous video? This is a painting by Van Gogh. It's got a complementary colour scheme. And you can see he's got some bright accents here. He's got some very bright green and red. But most of this painting is actually made up of neutral mixes. It looks like he has a lot of this painting, it looks like he's mixed together the red and the green with a lot of white. A little bit more green here, maybe a little bit more red in this area up here. But altogether, it gives it a quiet, more contemplative painting, even though he's used a complementary colour scheme. So let's see, I've not actually tried these two yet. Let's have a look. Because they're so bright, you can hardly imagine you're going to get something so neutral out of this. So let's just see if we can. Right, I'm going to start off. Here's this, this is a really bright red. This is Pyrrole red, which is like a really about the brightest you can get, I think. Pillar block box red. Very bright. So I'm just going to add, to begin with, just a little bit of the green, which is the complementary colour. White. A wee bit more. To begin with, it's still red, it's just a bit knocked back, a bit sort of desaturated. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more green this time. To see what we get, and a lot more white. Probably easier to mix this using a palette knife actually, but I've just been doing this to make it easier for the video. We're getting a really nice grey here. It's still quite dark. I'm just going to add some more white here. So it's still on the sort of pinker side. I'm going to try with a little bit more green, see what that looks like. White. I could actually sit here for hours doing this. It's kind of therapeutic. Yeah, nice grey. But I want it much lighter. A little bit more green, I think. It's a nice soft grey. I mean, obviously you can make grey from just mixing black and white. That's what we were always told at school, I think. But when you're using the complementary colours, you know, some are a little warm, some are a little cooler, some are a little bit more sort of creamy colour, or you've got like this kind of bit more creamy, some are a little bit more browny, beigey. You can just make a huge amount of beautiful neutrals without going anywhere near black. And you can add black if you want, but you don't need to. It's a bit more pale here. So going from here to here just by adding the complementary. Here to here. Well, infinite possibilities really, and the best thing to do is to experiment with the paints that you have and see what neutrals you can come up with. And if you're interested, I wrote a blog post about this a wee while ago, so I'll put a link in the description below if you fancy reading that. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe for more painting and mixed media tips if you like this video. And I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.